Okay, so I'm here with Timo Noot. Timo, your match with Mick Vainula today was awesome. What do you think about it?
I thought it was really good. It's the first time I've wrestled Mick. So we first met today.
Okay.
So yeah, it's very interesting. It's cool to wrestle someone who's from Estonia.
Yeah, I believe it was the first time in history with an Estonian wrestled an Estonian.
Yeah,
one match.
It was. Yeah.
Is that important for you to make history?
Is it important to make history? Yeah, for sure. But it's not something that I thought of until the match actually finished. And then when it clicked, I thought, yeah, that's cool. But it's not something that I will, write down in my diary. I don't keep a diary, but it's not like a big monumental thing.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, your wrestling debut happened this year or last year? Which one?
My Finnish debut was this year, but I've actually been wrestling since 2016.
Okay, because you seem very experienced, so I was surprised. That short wrestling time and that kind of a match, that surprised me. But you have 5 years of experience.
I have 5 years of experience, but you have to take into consideration the COVID years.
Yeah.
So it's actually really 3 years.
Yeah.
Because the 2 years I didn't do much wrestling. So I'd say, if anyone asks, I started in 2016, but I've actually wrestled for 3 years because the COVID years really changed it.
Where else have you wrestled besides Slam Wrestling Finland?
I have wrestled mainly in England because I spent 6 years living in England. I've just moved back to our part of the world last November, so It's not even a year I've been back. But before I worked for Rev Pro in England.
Okay.
I did their like smaller shows, not the main London shows, not the bigger cities, but the smaller towns.
Yeah.
And just independence in England, and I've also done like training camps, so that's also wrestling. I wrestled in LA for the LA dojo, New Japan dojo. I did the 4-day camp there.
Okay.
So that was a very, very good experience for me. But anywhere I can wrestle, I'll take it. I'll take any match.
So you have plenty of experience in wrestling in the New Japan dojo and Rev Pro and.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to have trained under many great wrestlers. Starbuck being one of them, and of course, Shibata, Hiroki Goto, and Marty Jones.
Wow.
Justin Gabriel. I've trained under the Road Warrior Animal. It's just a bunch of guys.
Well, you have a hard-hitting style. Are you like looking? Do you want to fight like Katsuyori Shibata, like hard-hitting shoot style?
My main goal is to wrestle in Japan and make my career in Japan. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think it's possible to jump from here to Japan? It's maybe easier now than 10 or 20 years ago, but is it possible?
I think with Japan it is there's a bigger possibility than with the major American promotions, because the Japanese look at it more as a sport. So they look at the competitor, not where they come from, and not if they can sell the most merch. Of course that's important, but I think the American companies they want to build around their local wrestlers, local talent. So as a foreigner, especially if you come from a small country, Estonia has just over 1 million people.
Yeah.
So the market is tiny, and it's nothing in the world, and we don't have wrestling. So my odds aren't so good, but I feel like if I keep working hard, Japan is a possibility for sure. And I have friends who wrestle for the Japanese companies, and I'm sure my time will come.
What about NXT UK or something like that?
NXT UK, yeah, I'm very interested. I'm very interested to go anywhere that's a full-time job in wrestling.
Yeah,
I would consider any offer.
So you're looking at a career in wrestling, not just a hobby.
For sure, yeah, for sure. Because this wrestling bug bit me when I was 11 years old, and then I started training for wrestling. You know, not wrestling training, but I started, you know, building my body, building my strength up, and it's been my life and my goal ever since. So for most of my life, I've wanted to do this, and now for the past 5 years, I've been doing this. So.
Well, at 11 years old, what got you hooked in wrestling?
It was a video game. It was a PlayStation 2 title called WWE SmackDown. Here Comes the Pain.
Okay, that's a classic game.
Yeah, classic game. I think it's one of the best to this day, and yeah, I'm really glad I found it. It wasn't my game, but I swapped my games with my classmate. I had a Formula 1 game, I gave it to him, and then I got the wrestling game, and here I am.
Okay, that's fate.
Yeah, that's fate.
Yeah.
So, because I had this Formula 1 game for a few years before I ever played anything else on the PlayStation 2, and you don't see me driving a Formula 1 car, so it must have been wrestling was the better option.
Yeah, yeah. Well, do you have any like dream matches or dream opponents in the future you would like to face, either here in Finland or like Japan or something?
I would really love to wrestle Minoru Suzuki. I would like to wrestle Walter. I would love to wrestle Katsuyori Shibata. There's a lot of guys that I really want to wrestle, and it might be a very long list. So I'll just leave it at the 3 that popped into my head first.
Great choices, great choices. Yeah. Well, today there's so much wrestling you can watch. Is there something you watch the most, like maybe AEW or NWA or New Japan or WWE? Or
to be honest, I watch mostly old Japan wrestling from the 90s. I mainly watch. I have certain guys I watch. I watch Stan Hansen, Terry Funk, Kenta Kobashi, Mitsuharu Misawa. Yeah, I just like the Japanese wrestling of the 90s, but particularly, the King's Road style of all Japan Pro Wrestling. Yeah. And if I could go back to that era or wrestle that style, it would be a dream come true.
Okay, one last question. Mick Vainola said that was his best match of his career. Do you think that was your best match of your career? Because it was a hell of a match.
I liked that match. It wasn't my best match, but he was a tough opponent, and he's just tough as nails. And I hope we get to wrestle again. He got me. Yeah, he pushed me hard.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so much for your time, and I hope you can fight Katsuyori Shibata and he comes out of retirement for that match.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.